For the final time from California this year, we are live on SYS TV from San Diego for round 6 of MX Simulator Supercross. Hello again everyone, my name is Kellen Brower and welcome to MotoOption Supercross in MXS EMF North America Series, live here on SYS TV. There's a lot of storylines for us to cover tonight, so we're going to kick it off by sending it to our Versus PC pre-race report. Drama filled the forums after Oakland last week as Bryce Whelan was not too happy about Alexis Leclerc's starting technique. Although his technique is deemed legal as he was only backing up to get back to his normal starting position, Whelan felt he was doing it to gain an advantage. This prompted a large debate on the forums over what is right and what is wrong on the starting lines, so expect to see more and more guys trying new techniques out here tonight in San Diego. In regards to Leclerc, he actually did break through for his first win of the season last week in Oakland, padding his points lead he had entering the night. That now makes 5 different winners in 5 rounds to start the season in the 450 class, while on the flip side, the 250 class has only had 1 winner, Russ Chapman, in the first 5 rounds. Let's see if we can break that streak and have a second-time winner in the 450 class tonight, and perhaps a different winner altogether in the 250 class. To get a better idea of the track that will be raced tonight, let's go ahead and take an onboard look of this week's track. Our racing format tonight is essentially back to what is the usual racing format, where again we'll start off with a consolation race for anybody outside of the top 40 in qualifying to have a chance to race tonight. And we'll jump right into heat racing with 250 heat 1 and 2, 450 heat 1 and 2, of course top 9 riders going to the main out of that. The LCQs will be up after that, 250 and 450 following, 4 riders to the main to make our 22 rider main events. 250 of course going first and 450 following it with 15-minute plus 1 lap and 20-minute plus 1 lap races respectively. So we'll hope to see you guys out there tonight. MotoOption Supercross on SYS TV is proudly presented by Versus PC. Want to build a custom gaming PC? Looking to upgrade your own? Head over to versuspc.com today to see how you can enhance your gaming experience right now. There we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to round number 6 of the 2018 MotoOption Supercross Series, live here on SYS TV For whatever reason, again, my microphone unmuted, then remuted itself, so I apologize for that little mishap there at the beginning. But yeah, welcome everybody. San Diego on the docket tonight. We have about 2 hours of racing action coming your way here in just a moment. And in order to not make my computer crash like it did 2 weeks ago, I had to start the broadcast outside of the server, so I am loading into the server right now. Glad to see everybody enjoying chat tonight. As always, hanging out, having a good time. You can always watch us live either on gaming.youtube.com/live/start your systems, I believe, and then twitch.tv/start your systems TV. We always are live on either channel now. And yeah, we're going to go racing here in just a moment. I think they are probably about to grab UIDs. Nope, 2 minutes away. All right, so we're still a little bit away from that. Let's go on board with somebody that's roaming around here right now. Excuse me. How about our points leader, Russ Chapman? Give a third-person perspective of the track right now. And while I take a look at Chapman out there, I'll also tell you about our fastest qualifiers on this evening's program. Of course, the Fast 40 is seeded into the races automatically. We'll have a consolation race for anybody outside of the Fast 40 first tonight. But in the 450 class, your fastest qualifier was the number 6 machine of Colton Mitchell. He laid down a 54.58, which was a half second better than your current points leader, the number 7 of Alexis Leclerc. So Leclerc running a 55 flat. Jeremy Shipley on a 55.4 was third. Tyson Fresquez on a 55.5 was in fourth. And Bryce Whelan on a 55.6 was in fifth. Looks like the top 20 riders all under the 57-second range, so 56 or below. And your cutoff time in the 450 class tonight was a 57.9, meaning first to 40th place was only a difference of 3.4 seconds. That's insane. 3.4 seconds between your top 40 qualifiers. Into the 250 class, though, no surprise here whatsoever. The man, the myth, the legend, perfect so far this season. It is Rush Chapman as your fastest qualifier in the 250 class, 55.8. That is 1.2 seconds faster than your second fastest qualifier, Walter Gebhardt on a 57.1. Behind that, Colby Eagland on a 57.6. Matthias Janis on a 57.6 as well, but in fourth behind Colby Eagland, and Craig Leake rounds out your top 5 on a 58 flat. So already beyond the 450 times in fifth place. If you were on a 450, you were going faster. 40th fastest qualifier on a 450 is going faster than fifth fastest on a 250F. Cutoff time for this was a 103.3 by Joey Nielsen, and that is a difference of give or take 7.5 seconds between your first and 40th fastest qualifiers tonight. So that just gives you an indication how incredibly insane this class is for this 450 competition, which we will see later tonight. Of course, coming up first is a consolation race, and in between that, I'm going to go ahead and ride around a little bit so you guys get a little better view of the track, although I'm not making it look like a better view at the moment. That first rhythm section is a doozy tonight. I think people are going to struggle with that one really bad. All the jumps in it are pretty small. They built it based off of the track map, but I would be willing to bet that the real-life track will not have 8 jumps in that section, so won't be that weird in real life, but in this game, it's actually pretty weird. There's a couple ways to attack that section. I'll show you the way that I personally would attack it when I get to that, but here is the rest of the track. One basic set of whoops into a small double, but this set of whoops is a little bit taller, a little bit longer apart than the rest of the sets we've had all year. So getting a little bit bigger as we get deeper into the season. Little sand section, that'll probably wear in nicely with the road, then a hip jump. This might be one of the trickiest corners on the track, is trying to get this triple into the corner and not blow the corner because they didn't build the lip very steep on it. So you have to really come in hot. And then this is going to be one of those tricky sections all night long where if you can get it right, people are doing this right here through that inside line. And then this is my line through this first section, but I think not many people will take it. Go around the outside, carve in, and go 4-3 through that first rhythm. Just kind of depends. There's going to be a couple different options there. I think as the race develops, as the road kicks in, you'll see guys cut in and go 3-2-2. A couple guys may still try to go outside and then double, triple. It's kind of a catch-22 because you have to swing so wide to get some of these lines to work, like that one I just showed you in the first rhythm section, that might not be worth it. So up first tonight, give me a second, is the Consolation race again. These are anybody that have qualified outside of the Fast 40, which is 250 and 450 combined, 40 first on back qualifiers, all lining up for a little race. Little bit of doubt, complaining, whatever you want to call it, about this race even happening anymore, as it didn't used to happen before. There wasn't ever a Consolation race, and this doesn't serve any real purpose. I personally believe that it would be nice if they allowed these guys that finished first, second, whatever to fill out the gates, but it's a little bit hard to do scripting wise, so I can understand that. But I'll get into the whole controversy surrounding this and that in a minute. But let's go racing from San Diego. Consolation races on the gate. 30 board is sideways, and the gate is down in San Diego. Lots of people trying to time the gate and hitting it. Into the first corner, it is, I think that was Tassone that swung wide, but it's Zach Prokop on the 92. He's followed by Oakley, who will take over the race lead as Prokop went down. We got a stack up in the background, and there is Tassone. So again, these guys not in the Fast 40. We're going to see a lot more crashing in this race. In fact, your leader, Oakley, already off the track. Andrew Wood now goes to the race lead momentarily. Kind of all sorting out back here between these guys, getting mixed up a little bit. Oh, rider down. That is Braden Carter upside down, and he gets caught in with a couple guys here. So it spreads out a little bit. More guys going. Oh my goodness, this Consolation race looking like an amateur race on a Sunday night, as Wood pulling out to a nice comfortable race lead already. Nobody in his sights. The nearest guy is Zach Prokop, almost 7 seconds down after the first lap. Billy Kunitz, Maxime Tassone, Douglas Oakley, Logan Heagney, Daniel Batchlett, Braden Carter, Dylan Gatlin, Sabrina Ritzler, Peter Like, Ethan Parks, Brandon Cummings, Austin Anderson. 14 guys started this race. I want to go back to Sabrina Ritzler for a moment. Here she is. You notice Sabrina Ritzler running a very kind of black and white camo look this evening. That, of course, is because this weekend in San Diego is going to be Military Appreciation Weekend again. In Sim, it is actually not the affiliated round. We are actually pushing the Military Appreciation race back later in the season, so look out for an announcement on that coming soon as Ritzler goes down. We're going to have probably a retro night, a breast cancer awareness night, and a military race all coming up later on this season. Each of those nights we'll open up the donations on the live stream. For example, military night, we will open up donations. Anybody who wants to send one, we will transfer it directly to Wounded Warriors and help them out as much as we can, get the motocross community a little bit more involved in something like that. But again, that'll be later on this season, so hang tight. You'll see more of the theme nights, theme races coming up later in the season. These guys just running it because it's the real life theme night coming up this weekend. So Prokop momentarily took the lead, but again, he is off the track now, so Billy Kunitz goes to the front. Kind of all scattered around. Of course, as I mentioned, this Consolation race has come under a bit more scrutiny this week. We did not ever run a Consolation race that didn't mean anything in Race Factor gaming competitions, so with MXS EMF taking over, this is the first time we've ever seen it. And basically, this doesn't mean anything. This is just these dudes going out here and ripping around for 8 minutes plus a lap, and they don't get to race in the main night show. This is just a little kind of a fun race for them. A Consolation race at a national event, which we've seen many times before, is for anybody qualified 37th on back trying to make it into those final 4 slots in the motos. That is not the case for this. So with that, a lot of people complained about the time pinch and why we even run it, and we could get through the event faster, which is understandable, but they do it so that these people who paid to race this series, because it's a paid-for-play series now, still get a chance to at least race, have a little bit of fun, try the track out. This is with a road on, so they're going to see it wearing down a little bit more too. And of course people suggesting, well, move it back to the end, but then it would mean that they have to wait forever, and you know, might as well just get it out of the way right now and get it over with. I mean, my opinion of it is we had semi races last year, right? We had 2 heats for the 250s, 2 heats for the 450s. Well, that was actually backwards. We did 450s first, so 2 heats 450s, 2 heats 250s, then 2 semis, then a 250 LCQ and 450 LCQ, and then the main events. If you take away the semis, which we did this year, and that's what the real life Supercross did, that opens up, roughly speaking, a 20-minute gap, because those races were about between the areas and 5 to 8 minutes long every time, and it would take a while to get, you know, everybody stacked on the gate and get the scripts loaded properly and all these different things. So you take it away, it opens up a 20-minute slot, of which only about 10 minutes of it are taken up by this consolation race. So our program is still shorter despite this consolation race being involved this year. So it's a mixture. I can understand both sides of this kind of argument of getting rid of this consolation race doesn't serve a ton of purpose for the main body of the series and the pro series, etc. But I also understand people paying money to race this series want to have an opportunity. I think it really wouldn't hurt too bad if you let anybody outside of the top 40 in qualifying here, because they didn't make the night show, are allowed to race amateur day on Sunday. Yeah, that means they have to show up 2 nights out of the week, but clearly they're not fast enough to be on the pros level, and there's plenty of amateurs, I can promise you, that are fast enough to be on the pros level, so I think it would even out a little bit in that mixture. Ooh, Kunitz off the track before the finish, but has a sizable lead. In fact, there's really not a whole lot of any battling going on. Maybe Andrew Wood and Sabrina Ritzler are the closest right now. No, actually we got a good battle between, I think this is teammates right here. Ethan Parks and Brandon Cummings. Yes, they are teammates, and they go down. Zach Prokop is having a magic man and a half. This is when internet goes bad, and Prokop is having a real bad time with it right now. Can't quite tell if he's maybe in a battle with Peter Like and our server just hasn't picked him up in a while because he's lagging so bad or what, but terrible lag. And I'm interested to see that EMF is allowing him to stay out there, as they actually banned somebody from a race earlier this week in the European series for having too heavy of a lag bubble. So I'm surprised they're letting someone with that much lag that we can see it in warm-up mode stay out on the track right now. Well, Batchley goes down. Heagney and Cummings are still battling. Oh, we got a stack up. That is, Heagney was down on, I don't know who that was. Must have been a lapped rider. They were catching Ethan Parks, though. That's all split up again. Wood goes back around Ritzler, so there must have been a swap there. Peter Like is kind of all alone. Tassone, Carter. Oh, we got a battle for the lead. 2 laps to go, and Billy Kunitz has Braden Carter giving him pressure, but Carter goes down. This is going to make you guys sick, but you guys wanted to see the onboard lap. Although Kunitz is running 58, so maybe he'll do consistent laps here. But I could tell a lot of these guys were crashing earlier on. So a couple things breaking down a little bit. You can see the road kind of wearing in slowly with these guys. I'd imagine it'll be a little bit more when there's a full racetrack. Oh, Kunitz jumps off the track here. He's catching some lapped riders. He only has a 2-second lead. And almost goes up and over the bars right there. Good save. Braden Carter is keeping it close though, and we are on the final lap. Can Carter close it down? Whoa, little swaps on the offs and then goes down into the corner. Wow, they are lapping Andrew Wood. Last time we checked, Andrew Wood was in 4th. Oh, Kunitz stacked up in the corner. Here comes Carter, and Kunitz goes down, and Wood just plows into him. Carter to the race lead, a couple corners to go. And unless he goes down in this last corner, he is going to take the victory here. Little tire tap, and Braden Carter steals the show in the consolation race. Billy Kunitz blows a pretty clear victory there. Tassone, Peter Like, Zach Prokop, Sabrina Ritzler. Ethan Parks is going to be the last guy on the lead lap. Then Brandon Cummings already finished with Andrew Wood, Logan Heagney, Daniel Batchelot, Dylan Gatlin, Austin Anderson, Doug Oakley, and myself in warm-up mode. Take a look at Ethan Parks. It's Moto A Go-Go's favorite player, the one and only Triptez. Probably not where Ethan Parks wants to be, or Peter Like, or Zach Prokop, of which all three guys have earned a national number this year. That is, if you finish top, well, roughly speaking, it's usually about top 94 or so in Grand National standings, you earn a national number. If you finish top 10 in Grand National standings, you get the right to pick a career number. All the single-digit numbers have been picked, so even if you win a championship, there's no single digits available right now, which is pretty wild. All right, now comes the real fun. Not to say that this wasn't real fun. I mean, it was real and it was fun, but it wasn't real fun. Coming up next, though, is the 250 West Heat Race number 1. These guys will go 6 minutes in a lap for 9 tickets to the main event. Only 9 of the 20 riders on the gate coming up will be going through to tonight's main event. The final West race of the series for a while. The next West round after this it'll be the shootout in Indianapolis 5 weeks from now. And then after that, they're back in Seattle, Salt Lake, and Vegas, of course. But yeah, start off the season, 6 West rounds, get these guys acclimated, and then on to the East Coast next week in Dallas. So we'll see those East Series riders for the first time. A lot of talk about Connor Lynn's making his comeback. Connor Lynn's just missing out on the 250 East Championship last year. So he will go again to try to win it. He was desperately close in 2016, lost that championship to Tyler Schmidt. Came into the final round in 2017 again with a shot at the title and lost it to Connor Holiak. I was in that race. Finished 13th in the shootout last year. 4th in the East Coast standings. All right, 250 West action on the gate, or potentially on the gate. Are we still waiting on people, or is it my internet that crapped? Nope, it's my computer that crapped. I don't know what's that all about. All right, now I can see. So this is 250 West Heat number 1. This is actually the parade lap, so these guys just feeling out the track one more time. Got a whole host of people in it, including but not limited to, you should be in this one, your points leader. Yes, there he is. Rush Chapman, who had a change of heart, as supposedly Colton Mitchell did as well. And as usual with most people in this game, they will not stay on one team for very long. So iLab had quite a few people. That team has kind of all broken up. Colton Mitchell and Rush Chapman were both on that team. Now they have both switched, to my knowledge. Chapman definitely has, to ART Racecraft Decals, which is the team that Jeremy Siebold has been on this year. regardless, I wish them the best going forward. Here we go though, 250 West, heat number 1 on the gate. We are set to go from San Diego. Let's go racing. Gate is down, and it's a land rush in the first corner. The 778 of Hubbard got there first, but Chapman tucks inside. Might have just got the whole shot, but Hubbard around the outside going to go ahead and take that race lead away from the 29 machine. They've also got Kevin Gonzalez on the 182 sneaking in the mix as well. Sean Klein had that epic battle with Russ Chapman for the victory last week. He ends up right there in 4th as Hubbard misses a triple, so that's going to allow Chapman to go to the race lead. It's all kind of breaking apart up front early. Gonzalez and Hubbard now battling it out after Hubbard missed a triple. Actually, Hubbard casing that triple into the rhythm section, getting passed up by Sean Klein and Grant Harlan. So Hubbard's got to kind of settle down a little bit here. Maybe lost his cool just a touch there, leading the race, trying to get away. But he's plenty capable of making it into the main event, as is the guys behind him, Isaiah Dickerson and Roy Mitchell. Good to see the 62 machine of Roy Mitchell back on the racing scene. Always kind of takes random brief hiatuses as he goes down. Andrade, Jake Warden. Fun fact, I think only one person in this 250 heat race has ever been on Team USA's MX Simulator Destinations team in their career, and Roy Mitchell is that one guy. And he goes down again, very similar fashion to how he just crashed on the start straight. Dickerson gets around Gonzalez, who's hung up in the bales. So again, it's kind of splitting apart a little bit. This is your battle for 3, 4, and 5. Hubbard, Harlan, and Dickerson. Dickerson looks like he's kind of making his way forward quickly here. These guys all not attempting to triple into that corner before the finish. It's been very tricky during the qualifying sessions. Guys tire tapping it, coming up short. Couple things. Now Dickerson swings around the outside of Harlan. Harlan stuffs him back into the corner, and now we're going to have a little check in the rhythm lane, and Dickerson gets around Harlan, who just barely escapes JLV's dreaded front end lock. And now Dickerson has clean sailing, but he is also going to miss a Supercross triple. Harlan jumps off the track, so nobody's looking comfortable on this track right now. Seems like a bit of a free-for-all even inside of your transfer spots right now. Speaking of transfer spots, yeah, Robert Wilson just moved into the final transfer spot. He got around Joey Nielsen. Behind that, Matthias Janis. Oh, Janis just avoids Nielsen, who went down, and the 364 of Cody Penwell gets hung up on him. Look at this, Tyler Lewis and Alex Carlo both outside looking in, but Janis is down after the whoops. He's going to get going, but he's lost quite a bit of positions and a lot of ground. So now it is Carlo who's going to try to run down Robert Wilson, who still occupies that final transfer spot. Ooh, Wilson. Little mistake. A lot of guys are clipping that single on the on-off. Getting bucked. Saw Roy Mitchell go down in a very similar fashion to Wilson, but he had an off-the-bike crash. Oh boy, this is getting good, and look at that, going 3-4 up to the triple. Tyler Lewis pulls up right behind his teammate, Robert Wilson, and shoves it in on him, gets the pass done, and Lewis goes for the triple and jumps over both of them. I'm sorry, Carlo goes for the triple and jumps over both of them. So he goes to the final transfer spot, but now the Brazilian rider, Fernando Andrade, is in that final transfer spot, and he's getting bucked through the whoops. Here comes Wilson. Oh, goody, goody, goody. Andrade off the track and down. Wilson into that final spot. Now can Lewis get his teammate back again? These Relaxa Tire Suzuki guys have no love lost. They have been at each other's throats these last couple weeks. Oakland was a very prominent race for that particular situation, as a couple of the Relaxa Tire guys got together on more than one occasion. Oh man, Lewis just escaped front end lock. Janice is charging though. He's come from pretty far back to get here as we saw him go down, and he is trying to get that last transfer spot. Let's see if he gets the 3 in. Yes, he will. Gets the quad. Oh, and Lewis goes down. I know it probably looks fairly easy from the broadcast perspective, but that triple in coming up to that Supercross triple is not easy on a 250F. These guys will really have to stretch it out, get the corner before it's smooth. So settling things down a little bit, we're about to maybe get the white flag. It's going to be close with Chapman. Oh, Hubbard was in second, but he goes down. Dickerson slides on through, as does Sean Klein. Watching the timer, I think Chapman is going to get there again, unless it was a 5-minute race and I'm just an idiot. Yeah, got there before the 6-minute mark, so 2 laps to go. It's like Klein is trying to keep Dickerson honest, and Dickerson goes down. Opens the door for Klein to move into second. Gate pick could be a little more helpful tonight. So Hubbard moves back into the 3 spot. Dickerson slides back to 4th. He's got a big old comfortable gap on Grant Harlan, who's in 5th. Gonzalez just getting up from a crash in 6th. Janice is slotted into the 7th spot, so he's gotten his way well inside of transfer. Carlo is 8th, and Jake Warden on the 237 machine. Going backwards, Carlo is down, and Tyler Lewis goes through for the final transfer spot. So now it's split up once again. Roy Mitchell is trying to bring Cody Penwell along with him. This is the 10 and 11 spots on track. Not a transfer at the moment, but it could be if something were to happen again with Lewis. Ooh, these guys are getting real testy with that tough block coming back across the start straight right there. Trying to cut it as close as they can. A few guys hitting it is Lewis. He made a mistake, so Mitchell goes by. And we have a final transfer spot change again. Now Lewis making all kinds of mistakes. He's going to have to check up and double. But Penwell jumped off the track. Now Lewis tries to cut to the inside, get the triple from there. He's going down, hits Penwell, he goes down. And Penwell was able to ride out of it and is now actually in the last transfer spot as Warden was down. So Penwell has to hold off Carlo, and we're going on to the last lap here in just a moment. White flag is in the air for your leader, Chapman. Oh, these guys are down. Here comes Warden. He is going to not get the spot. Penwell is cut over hard on him. And Penwell maintains the position, but we got 3 riders battling for the last transfer spot, and behind them, Russ Chapman takes the victory, but I am not switching away from this battle. This is a good one. Penwell electing to go inside and then triple. Oh, Warden gets into the back of him. Now Carlo swings wide. He's going to have a drive, and he's going to take the spot. Penwell's trying to fight back. Contact. Hello. Man, these guys are playing a little bit of musical chairs here. I'm not sure why Carlo came to a near dead stop in the corner, but it cost him more than it cost Penwell. I thought that might have been Penwell that was down, but it is not. He is still up and going. You can see the official race leaderboard coming in across the left-hand side of your screen there. 7th is over the line. 8th should be coming up here in just a second. Penwell is trying to hold off Carlo. Coming down to the finish line, Penwell is going to check up and try to use the inside line to his advantage. There it is, Penwell into the main event. Carlo just outside, but it could also come down to cuts, so we'll have to go and watch that as well. And over the line, ooh, Penwell did have cuts. He actually had just 0.2 of a second worth of cuts. But he does hang on for that final transfer spot. That was a good race. And it was won by Russ Chapman. So we'll go to a little overhead view of the stadium. Coming up next, 250 West Heat number 2. The best of the rest lining up. Again, 9 transfer spots available. Only 9 guys will be going to the main event out of that one, of course. And here we go, loading in right now. And while we're loading in, I'd like to take this time to tell you guys about the fine folks over at versuspc.com. I just got my awesome gaming computer built. I'm sure that video will come out eventually. But they are a huge help in helping you develop what computer you want. You just go over there and tell them your budget, and they will either build a PC for you or tell you the necessary parts that you need. Definitely check out versuspc.com for all your gaming and computation needs. All right. It's interesting to see the way that the numbers are being skewed. Obviously, we did our first simulcast 2 rounds ago at Phoenix. And we've been broadcasting on Twitch and YouTube simulcast ever since. Last week, Twitch actually was the higher number broadcast viewership. This week, YouTube outweighs the Twitch guys. But it's not a competition, right? Or is it? All right, so in this one, we've got a whole mixture of people that are all pretty much going down. We have got the Swiss sensation, Stefan Guido, front flipping his way to a better suspension. Charles Gable's in this one. We got Cody Darr, Jordan Moxey, Mikhail Ming Woodley, Zach Dupuis, Nathan Zaworski, Josh Mertens, Brandon Hedge, Craig Leak, Ty Smith, Devin Ryan, Colby Eaglin, Jake Rose, Walter Gebhardt, Tyler Fry, Buddy Parker, James Schuler, Austin Bear, and myself in warm-up mode. But here we go, 250 West Heat number 2, lining up, 6 minutes plus a lap. 9 transfer spots to the main event are on the line. Who is going to get it? Who wants to take that step into the main event? We are about to find out, ladies and gentlefish. So here we go, 250 West Heat action, live here on SYS TV from San Diego. Here we go, let's drop the gate. And it's a good start from the 58 of Rose. Leak is going to try to squeak to the inside and get the hole shot, but it's actually the outside, the 2 strokes. 162 of Ty Smith and Zach Dupuis battling it out in the second corner. And there's 3 2 strokes up front as Tyler Fry goes to the lead. And Josh Mertens on a 250F is mixed in with Craig Leak. Oh man, and a stack up of epic proportions. Everybody trying to get to that outside line to clear the triple. Craig Leak was so desperate to get there that nobody cleared the triple behind him. And now Fry ends up in a little bit of a comfort zone. Leak was able to get around a couple of guys and move into second. Not sure why I don't have his bike skin. Hedge up to third. Ty Smith, who had your early hole shot, is now slid back to fourth. Doiron, Dupuis, Darr, Zaworski, Mertens, Guido. Actually, Mertens just went down. Buddy Parker is also up here as well. Just a plethora of guys, and Moxie on the 20 is trying to get into the mix. He's one of, not necessarily a title contender at this point, but one of the race favorites. Always has a shot of winning these things, so he's going to try to work his way into a better position, but that's not going to help as Guido just trying to get to his normal line, and Moxie just kind of ran into the back of him there. Well, we got a split of things here. I think Dupuis must have just gone down as everybody's kind of scattered in here. Man, look at all of the chaos. Now Guido on the back of Tyler Fry, who must have coughed up the lead, and now Brandon Hedge leads. Zaworski gets Ty Smith getting up sideways in the track in front of him. Nobody seems like they can clear the Supercross triple as everybody's down in the corner before it, so everybody's checking up and going inside. Mikhail Ming Woodley in 7th is the first guy to get the Supercross triple in the 250 class in this race so far, pretty much. Look at this battle in the whoops. Buddy Parker getting a little sketched out. That is Ty Smith down with Mikhail Ming Woodley at the end of the whoops. And again, another pileup as Dupuis just splits around. That's Tyler Fry, Charles Gable, and Buddy Parker all down in the corner. And somewhere back there, I see the 11 of Craig Leak, who was near the front early on, and now he's in this 4-rider battle here going over the hip jump. 31, that is Walter Gebhardt getting up from a crash, so it's still all scattered as another rider, Ty Smith, is down in the final corner, and it's all stacked up. This racing action is insane. Everybody's all over the place as Leak uses an outside move to try to gain some momentum. He's going to go around Ming Woodley. I think that's Gable right at the front of this. Ming Woodley cuts back underneath and gets back around Leak, though. Guys taking all kinds of different lines. Nobody can seem to get that first section clean either. Craig Leak able to get around a couple guys. He's also bringing the 34 of Devin Ryan with him. I saw there in the background, so it's getting split up here a little bit. Let's go back up front and reset things as Brandon Hedge continues to lead, and he has actually pulled out a nice comfortable gap on Colby Eagland. Trevor Doiron is in third. That was Guido in fourth, Zaworski in fifth, Jake Rose in sixth, Schuler 7th, Dupuis 8th, and Leak is in your final transfer spot, and it's suddenly spread out a ton behind him. There's nobody even really in the same department right now. Devin Ryan is the closest, but has to get about 3 more seconds back to catch up. Walter Gebhardt outside looking in, Moxie also out there. There's kind of a mix of guys back here that want their way in but are not. Gable was in, so was Fry. Fry actually led this race at one point. Look at all these guys. Oh, man. Oh, Devin Ryan up and over the bars. Gebhardt goes through. I don't believe either of these guys were actually in transfer spot at the time, so it's not going to affect much. Yeah, Guido actually... He did hold that last transfer spot. He must have gotten into the back of Craig Leak, though, and he's down, so Gebhardt goes through. Gebhardt and Leak. Leak is actually reeling in Zach Dupuis just a little bit. Leak trying to make a little bit more head roads inside of some transfer spots. Gebhardt, like I said, is in that last transfer spot, so now Guido and Moxie outside looking in. They would do themselves a favor to not necessarily battle each other here, as look at Moxie rip the inside and then Guido goes down in the background. So Moxie is on the charge right now. He is desperate to get in this main event out of the heat race. And Leak was down, so Moxie is gonna go into that last transfer spot right now. Leak has got to fight back. He's got to get back up there, challenge him. Moxie, a little mistake. These guys not able to get up and on that tabletop. Really not seeing the erode affect this race that much right now. Kind of an interesting development how little the erode is doing. Not even in the sand, which you'd expect it to break down quite a bit. It's kind of leveled out a little bit. Jake Rose and Zach Dupuis. Now James Schuler is in the mix. Ooh, Schuler in the bales. Gotta be careful. Oh, we have a change for the lead. Eagland has gone to the front. And Hedge coughed it up somewhere. Last time checked, Hedge actually had about a 7-second lead, so judging by the differences right now, I'd have to imagine Hedge had a fall-off crash. So now Eagland leading this thing, and he is not going to make it back to the line. So this is a slower heat race than the one Chapman was in. Eagland with a very, very bad re-entry to the race right there. Fortunately did not take down Brandon Hedge, but we are on the last lap, and we potentially have a battle for this heat race victory. And it is not necessarily your usual players up front right now. A couple 3-digit guys, rookies in this class. I gotta tell you, Hedge looks a little better, but he just makes a mistake. Looked like he was charging, though. So now Eagland has a gap. Zaworski is in third. We've got 7 guys down in this corner. Gebhardt, Dupuis, Rose, a bunch of people all down together here. And now Schuler goes through. And Leak has found himself up in this battle. Oh, Gebhardt going down. Leak just narrowly avoids him, so Gebhardt's going to lose a spot to Dupuis. Will he lose another? Yes, he will. There goes Jordan Moxie. And right behind him comes Devin Ryan, who I believe is... Oh, they're all outside of transfer. Moxie is in that last transfer spot. As your winner, Colby Eagland, comes across the line to take it. Hedge, Doiron, Zaworski getting up in fourth. Jake Rose now in fifth. Schuler, Leak, Dupuis, and yeah, Moxie is in that last transfer spot, I believe. Here comes Gebhardt. This is going to be a good one. Oh, Gebhardt getting sketchy. Dupuis maybe crapping himself ahead of these guys. Does not want to go down in the last corner and cough it up. Here comes Gebhardt tripling into the final corner, but he doesn't get there. Moxie hangs on. And Gebhardt goes to the LCQ with Devin Ryan, Charles Gable, Buddy Parker, Ty Smith, Tyler Fry, Mikhail Ming Woodley, Austin Bear, Cody Darr, Stefan Guido, and Josh Mertens. Ahead of that, though, it was Moxie going through with Dupuis, Leek, Schuler, Rose, Zaworski, Doiron, Hedge, Eagland taking the win out of this one. Very solid ride from the 891 MV Films ride. First heat race victory of his career, if I'm not mistaken. Very good ride, solid effort to get up there. Had a nice battle there for a little bit with Hedge. Hedge was trying to fight back, but couldn't quite get it done. I'd say that those were a couple good heat races. I don't think people are all too fond of the track this week, but so far it's produced fairly good racing, unpredictable racing, because some of your normal hot lap heroes looking like they're struggling a little bit. I've always said the more technical you make a track, the more that natural skill in this game will kind of shine through. When you make an easy track, these guys that have setups that are built to go on rails around the track don't really fare that well necessarily. All right, coming up next is the big dogs, and I heard somewhere that the big dogs want to eat. We're going to see this track probably tear down a little bit more. 450 guys, obviously more power, more torque, move a little bit more dirt. Maybe we'll see the road wearing in a bit. Did I time out? Yes, I did. All right, in this 450 heat race, we've got Tony Spinelli, Logan Leitzel, Devin Davis, Tyler Lane, Dylan Copeland, Colton Mitchell, Thomas Sillick, Eduardo Simos, James Armstrong, Reed Young, Jeremy Siebold, Craig Richards, Jeremy Cohenauer, Connor Holiak, Chase DeSell, Daniel Mills, Ryan Mahan, Clay Alfrey, couple guys, just to name a few. All right, here we are, loading onto the gate. The first 450 heat race of the night is lined up. They are set to go. The board is sideways. Let's go racing here again at San Diego. Ooh, good start from the 317 of Spinelli. Better one from Siebold, but Fresquez tried to push everybody wide. Almost got there, and Blakely from the inside gets clipped by Fresquez, contact all around, and a big pileup allows the 19 machine, Jeremy Siebold, through the front. And because of that, it kind of opened up a gap for everybody else as Siebold 360s over the triple and then gets landed on by Chase DeSell, who goes down from that. Here comes Colton Mitchell down the inside, gets the pass done. So we've got ART Racecraft decal teammates up front right now. Of course, Mitchell, and we talked about Chapman, started the season on iLab. They have team hopped their way over to ART Racecraft Decals to join Siebold, who was your opening round winner at Anaheim. So these two are going to try to sprint their way together. Just another day at the practice track for these guys. So there you see Siebold's trying to use that line, talked about at the beginning of the show. Actually, Mitchell was doing that line, and Siebold did something different. I didn't even see what he did, but it was very fast. Got the pass on Mitchell, and now Mitchell might lose a spot to Armstrong, who's coming down the inside here. Armstrong down the inside, still gets the Supercross triple. The power of these 450s is incredible. Now Spinelli back here in the 4th spot. Craig Richards is in 5th. Sillick, Mahan 7th, Davis 8th, and Lang 9th. Where is defending champion Tyson Fresquez? 15th. So Tyler Lang trying to get away from your defending 250 East Supercross champion Connor Holiak. Reed Young is also in the mix. Eduardo Simos, kind of a pretty normal main event guy back here. Logan Leitzel, Jeremy Cohenauer, Dylan Copeland, Chase Blakely, Chase DeSell, Daniel Mills, and then your defending champion Tyson Fresquez, who looks like he's slid all the way back down to 19th now. It's only one spot ahead of last place right now, Clay Alfrey. Uphill battle for the defending champ, who actually missed the 4th round of the series at Phoenix. None of his qualifying times counted, therefore he was booted. But that's another story in itself. Meanwhile, final transfer spot still hot and heavy battling. Tyler Lang is on the back wheel of Devin Davis, and he's going to try to go down the inside and get that spot. Gets into the back of Davis, who is cutting down, avoiding Mahan, who is down. So that actually allows Holiak into the final transfer spot. But he's going to move up to 8th. Lang swings wide. Makes a couple mistakes there. Lang down in the sand. And here comes Chase DeSell, it looks like. And Mahan. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that was Reed Young. So Reed Young through into the final transfer spot. Mahan, one of the few guys tripling into that corner. A lot of guys checking up and doing the tap. Mahan wants the spot. He's going to sling inside here. Do the triple out of the corner is pretty even, but look at that. Reed Young using the power on the on-offs to get back around. Mahan looking for a saucy inside move, but Young being defensive, riding kind of in the middle-ish of the track. Mahan still trying to size him up here. Those guys really having to stretch out that triple out of that corner. Oh, Mahan shows him a wheel. Watch out for... That is Logan Leitzel coming up in the background there on the 160 machine. We got a lot of riders down as, oh, Connor Holiak was down, got up sideways, and then a chaos bugger of people mixed in here. There's actually kind of just incidental contact. A couple guys trying to get going, and then I think that was Lang that got down the inside, or maybe it was Reed Young. So it shuffles everything up again. Now your final transfer spot is held down by the lawnmower himself, Tony Spinelli. Thomas Sillick trying an inside move. Very interesting to see how even those lines work out. Spinelli trying to do that outside quad line mistake. Gets swapped out, loses the spot, and gets taken down by Holiak, who's just trying to get to the inside. And that's going to be really detrimental for both of them. They lost a lot of positions and time there. So into the whoops we go. Sillick still in the final transfer spot. He's trying to keep close tabs on these guys so he doesn't necessarily fall into the clutches of Eduardo Simos behind him. Let's go ahead and kind of reset things here for just a second as your two ART Racecraft Decal Kawasaki teammates are 1-2. Mitchell ahead of Seabolt. A couple of 250 champions from last year. Seabolt, your defending 250 West champion. Mitchell, your defending 250 national champion. These guys are looking good tonight. Richards has moved up to 3rd. Devin Davis trying to hold off Armstrong. Armstrong scrubbed the absolute garbage off of that jump. Made sure it was all squeaky clean, but Davis is going to get him back through the next section. Whoa! Armstrong looks like he maybe lost the front end and then tried to correct and lost the rear end through that corner, so Leitzel goes through. Leitzel's having a good ride right now going forward. Tyler Lang is hanging on. It's still Sillick in that final transfer spot, but Simos is coming. Simos has closed that gap down. The cagey Brazilian veteran, multi-time 250 race winner, Eduardo Simos. In what is somewhat of his comeback season, he had a few races he showed up for last year, but so far has been at pretty much every round this year. And he's looking good. He's closing up on Sillick. Sillick jumps off the track, trying to get back on, but Simos is going to get the spot. Now Sillick has to go to work. Oh, what's going to happen here? White flag in the air for your race leader. very, very surprised that Tyson Fresquez qualified 4th fastest tonight and is still 16th in his heat race. It is just not the Fresquez of old. Silik's got a great drive in the whoops. Does he try the inside? No. Simo slams the door shut. Meanwhile, they're coming up to the back of Reed Young. Silik looks like he actually has a little bit more pace. Oh, Simo's chops him off. Almost contact. And now Simo's triples his way to the inside of Reed Young. And he got that pass done, so now Reed Young is the sitting duck. Silik is trying to get him, and meanwhile, Ryan Mahan is just lurking in the background. Silik down the inside. Does Reed Young have the on-offs clean? Yes, he does. Oh, he's trying to get back around, but Silik makes that pass work. Here comes Young down the inside. Not quite. Oh, we had a rider go off the track. It was Simo's, as up front, Seabolt takes the win from Mitchell. Let's go back to these guys again. Oh my goodness, Reed Young has Silik all over his rear fender. Simo's got back onto the track, and he is in 10th, and right in front of him, Silik goes down. So now Simo's goes to 9th, but here comes his teammate Mahan in the whoops. Simo's is down. He goes off the side of the track into the tough blocks and goes down. So now Silik has to try to get to Mahan. This is not over. Somebody could go down in this last corner and screw it all up as Lang goes over, Young goes over, and Mahan is just going to hang on over Silik. What a race. Kohenauer missing out, as does Spinelli. Simo's, Chase DeSell, Chase Blakely, Tyson Fresquez to the LCQ, Daniel Mills, Copeland, Alfrey, Holiak. I don't envy anybody going to that LCQ already, and we still have another heat to go. Oh my goodness. Whew. Catching my breath a little bit from that heat race. That was a good one. And speaking of good ones, if you want your suspension to feel like a good one underneath you, you don't want to get bucked around, head over to Racetech. Racetech.com. The science of suspension, been building suspension for a long time. And they will get you hooked up with either a complete rebuild, their patented gold valves, whatever you want, Racetech can handle when it comes to the suspension department, as well as the engine department. Started doing engines, well, last time I was there, which was a couple years ago, they were just beginning the engine build projects, seeing a little bit of stuff in the fabrication shops. So they've been building engines for a few years now. Back into building engines, they did it a while ago, took a break, and came back. Racetech, the science of suspension. All right, so this one looks like it might be a touch more stacked. We got Jeremy Smith, Jeremy Shipley, William St. Laurent, Holden Coate, Cameron Lee, Phil Bull, Spencer Turley, Garrett Olver, Adam Holm, Tyler Schmidt, and somewhere mixed in here is your points leader, the number 7 of Alexis Leclerc. I'm sure we will see him at some point during this heat race. But here we go. In fact, there he is on the gate right now. Very interesting that I downloaded Leclerc's stuff and yet do not have it. But here we go. The board is sideways. The final heat race of the night here live on SYS TV. Oh man, wow, from the outside, the whole shot hero, Tyler Schmidt got there, and Leclerc got greedy, pushed him off the track, and it caused a pileup. He got hit from behind, and Leclerc is going to have to work his way from the back to the front. Meanwhile, Dennis Fjellberg is your race leader, right ahead of the 27 of Adam Holm. Honestly, I think Tyler had that whole shot, but Leclerc did not want him to get it, dove it in deep, and that was pretty much all Leclerc's fault there. So meanwhile, Fjellberg and Adam Holm kind of battling it out for the lead. They have Jeremy Smith right behind him, and the 14 of Jeremy Hinner's also in the mix. Josh Williams is coming as well. And Tyler Schmidt got it from that contact with Leclerc and is already up into 6th, so making good headway there. Good battle for the lead, though. Holm has looked more aggressive recently. Kind of took it cautious at the opening rounds. Has worked his way forward in the championship standings each week. Oh, and Fjellberg triples out over the on off right there. And Holm, I think, was expecting him to tuck to the inside, but Fjellberg came all the way across the track and was going to go outside, and there was some heavy contact there. It was more Holm's fault than anything, but I would have to kind of put it more on just a racing incident, a mashing of the minds, if you will, because Holm had an idea of what Fjellberg was going to do, but Fjellberg did something completely different, and Holm was already committed to that line. So meanwhile, up front, Smith getting away from Hinders. Haley now moves up into the 3 spot with Schmidt coming along with him. First sign we've seen of Jesse Mullins coming into the mix right here. Chasing down his old buddy, his old teammate, his old pal, his old nemesis, Tyler Schmidt, and Schmidt looks like he's just going to let him go. Mullins obviously the faster rider on pace right now. So Mullins looks like he's going forwards. Interesting to see. It looks like if somebody wants to make a pass, they can really make that inside line right there work. Otherwise, everybody's going outside on off. How about Jack Haley reeling in Jeremy Hinders for second here? Haley's looked awful good last couple rounds. Handed Hinders the transfer spot last week out of the heat race as Haley had worked his way up to about 4th and then sat next to the finish line near the end, and Hinders was in 10th, got that final transfer spot because Haley wanted to race the LCQ for some reason. So now they meet back up this week here in San Diego, and they're duking it out for second in the heat race. Good close battle. Let's actually go on board with Haley for a second. 57-1, so he looks like he's on the pace. Hinders is going to use that inside. Let's see which is faster. Haley gets so much momentum from this outside line, but just can't quite pull it even with Hinders. Those lines look pretty even, honestly. Now Haley trying to pull alongside. Hinders slams the door shut. Now Hinders slides it down, so Haley's going to get that spot. And Hinders also loses a spot to Mullins. And maybe Schmidt. Nope. Hinders holds on for now. Here comes Shipley, though. Shipley also getting into the mix and is going to hit the back of Tyler Schmidt, who was not able to step onto the table right there. We're seeing more and more guys have problems with that as Williams comes sliding in. Where, oh, where is Alexis Leclerc? He is in the 13th spot by the looks of it right now, judging by everybody that just went by him. No, I'm sorry, that's 12th. He's behind Fjellberg and Shipley, who are also both out of transfer spots. This could be a big blow for your points leader to struggle out of this heat race and then have to go to the LCQ. Does not want that to happen. He's got 2 minutes and a lap to try to work his way into a transfer spot. Ooh, and that's going to help as Fjellberg gets together with... That was Mullins that was down. So Mullins having problems. He might not even make it out of this heat race. What in the name is going on here? So Leclerc trying to close up on Fjellberg just slightly. Ahead of them, that is Williams, I believe, on the 96. And then Shipley must have just gotten around him. I think Fjellberg is 10th. Yes, he is. So this is 10th and 11th, the first 2 non-transfer spots. And it's occupied by 2 very, very big-name guys in this game. Interesting to see Leclerc tapping and going inside there and actually didn't lose that much time. These guys are both trying to get around Josh Williams. Fjellberg might get it here, although Williams is going to fight back and hang on to the spot for now. Leclerc looking at an inside move on Fjellberg, not going to get it. Williams is getting kind of sketch and then goes down. Fjellberg into the final transfer spot there, coming up onto Bryce Whelan. And Whelan cases the triple. Oh, it's close. Leclerc goes for the triple, gets it, gets the final transfer spot, but how long it took him to get there. Oh boy, and he's still not over. He could go down one more time, as could Fjellberg and anybody really in this position. Whelan is no slouch back there. And these two have been just absolutely locked together. No separating them. See Leclerc here going, well, he didn't do it that time, but he was tapping and going inside and didn't lose a lot of time. So now Hinders goes back to the bubble spot. He had a crash. Leclerc is going to try to get Fjellberg once and for all. He gets the triple out. Fjellberg swings wide. Leclerc getting greedy again. Block passes him hard. Fjellberg is going to have to fight back, and now he might be pissed. Hinner still holds that last transfer spot, and Whelan is coming. Oh, Hinner's getting sketchy. Whelan lands on him. They're both down. Couldn't tell if that was incidental contact or not. What the heck just happened right there? Why is Tyler Schmidt all the way on that side of the track? And what just happened? Tyler Schmidt is having an issue of some sort. He finally figured it out, and I think is going back. Yeah, he missed a timing gate. Wow, was in transfer spot easily and missed a timing gate all the way back to 12th. So that puts Hinner's in the last transfer spot, and Phil Bull is the only one closest to him. Mullins is outside looking in. Somehow, some way, Alexis Leclerc is battling for third place. He was outside of a transfer spot 2 laps ago, but here he is in third. And again, just bringing Fjellberg with him. Those guys latched on and took off. Onto the rear tire of Adam Holm. Jeremy Smith dropped the lead, and now it is Jack Haley who's going to bring this thing home if he elects to take the victory out of this one. Of course, he sat by the finish line last week, but comfortably out front this week. I think he's going to go ahead and take this one home. And through the final corner he comes. Jack Haley, your winner here. 450 heat number 2 with a front flip for style. Jeremy Smith going to hold on. Leclerc coming in ahead of Fjellberg and Shipley. Oh, Shipley was getting a little saucy there with Fjellberg in that last corner. Looks like Adam Holm must have gone down. Hinner's now comfortably in, as is Phil Bull, who is in 8th, interestingly enough. Mullins is in 9th. Can Whelan get him? Will Mullins hang on? Who is going to get this last transfer spot? Mullins is going to have to dive inside to keep it. Oh, it was close. Oh, Whelan, 1.2 seconds. I think he slid out in the last corner. Man, oh man, something happened because there was somebody else in this mix that went backwards. I didn't think it was Whelan, but I guess it is. Schmidt got to be kicking himself easily in a transfer spot, blows off the track, misses enough timing gates that he has to go back. Cameron Lee, Holden Coate, Brian Haskell, Spencer Turley, William St. Laurent, Josh Williams, Noah Baker, and Jack Zars. Noah Baker finished 7th last week in the 450 main, I think, and he is out of the main event here in San Diego. He has got to go through that last chance qualifier. Wow. Talk about some heat races. Talking about turning up the heat. You know, you can buy a nice, lovely sweater from the guys at MotoOption Clothing, or any clothing, really. They'll keep you nice and cozy with some nice winter wear right now, but also they've got plenty of summer wear and just any wear all around. They've also got accessories. They make decals. MotoOption Clothing, the proud series sponsor of MotoOption Supercross for the 7th year running. MX Simulator, nearly a 10-year-old game, and we're still out here kicking it every week. And MotoOption, fabulous company, still helping out with prizing. Can't thank those guys enough for what they do, what they pour into this series. Riding the track a little bit, why not? Show you guys a little bit more third-person perspective. Really curious to see if these main events lend into the tracks breaking down more, because so far they haven't done much. All right. So, coming up next is going to be the 250 last chance qualifier. These guys will go about 4 minutes in a lap, I believe. 4 riders going to the main event to make up our 22-man field. This will also happen right after that for the 450 class. And trying to remember some of the guys that we saw not make it out of the 250 heat races. Of course, there's several of those two-stroke guys, Ty Smith and Tyler Fry, come to mind that did not make it out. Also remember a couple other near top contenders not making it out, but we'll see who exactly is in this race in just a second. Keep on waiting. Waiting on sim to load. All right. Even with a godly computer, sim still struggles on the struggle bus. All right. So I didn't quite get to show you who's in this race, but we'll find out as they go along. Am I right? All right. All right. We've got, I'll just do last names. Woodley, Wilson, Heberlein, Fry, French, Nielsen, Warden, Gable, Andrade, Mertens, Lewis, Parker, Ryan, Smith, Fowler, Bear, Dar, Carlo, DeRocco, Saulnier, and Barsha, apparently, as we are set to go in the 250 LCQ. That is actually Walter Gebhardt down the inside. And it is a Landrush two-stroke. Warriors out front again. Oh, Tyler Fry and Ty Smith make contact going into the first corner. And I guess I picked the right guy as Walter Gebhardt comes out with the early lead over Dakota French and Dominic Saulnier. Robert Wilson, Cole Heberlein, Fernando Andrade, a couple of the guys we normally see up here. Oh, Wilson gets stuck in the corner and Andrade is on top of him. And that is going to cost those guys a lot of time. Whoa, Andrade sideways across the track, almost T-bones one of the race leaders. Whoa, Nelly, that would have been bad. I don't know how they would have called that. I think it was Dakota French he almost came across and hit. Holy moly. Meanwhile, it is Gebhardt from French, Saulnier, and Heberlein up front, but Heberlein is down, and Ty Smith, who was down in the first corner, is going to come across the line in fourth. Holy scattered. Buddy Parker, Charles Gable. Gable's still going to work on Parker. Parker makes a small bobble. These guys are splitting into so many different lines into this first corner. Charles Gable thought that first rhythm section was actually a whoop section, apparently. Joey Nielsen and Cole Heberlein. Jake Warden. These guys are all close enough. They need something to happen to Ty Smith here. Although Buddy Parker's giving him some fits here. It's not over. And Smith is getting a little kicked around there in the whoops. You saw the back end kicking around. And in MX Simulator, there's really not a whole lot you can do to correct that. You have to be real subtle with the hand movements. Kind of bring that back around. We have a change for that final transfer spot now, though, as Dakota French on the 93 has lost the spot to Ty Smith. He is now in fourth, yes. It might just be me, but Dakota French, the name, the bike, etc., reminds me a lot of Dakota Tedder. Could just be me. Buddy Parker and Charles Gable want a piece of this final transfer spot, and they are not going to take no for an answer. Parker looks like he has the best shot at it. Gosh, these 250 guys are really having to pop that triple. Working really hard to do it. We got Ty Smith and Saulnier hung up in the corner. That might allow French to the inside. He is going to move into third, and Smith. Oh, I thought there was contact there. I was expecting the front end to knife, but it did not. Now Parker has the whole group right in front of him to think about this one, but he's got to be careful of Charles Gable from behind. 3 minutes in, 1 minute and a lap to go. Oh, Gable trying an inside move. Oh, and it cost him. He goes down. Parker inside on Smith. Shows him a wheel, but hasn't quite got the spot yet. Now he, well, cuts underneath. Wow, Smith able to hold on to that spot. Really good fight between these two. It's been clean so far. Parker's going to cut inside. He will not get the triple from there, and Smith does. Just got over him, but Parker doesn't have to worry anymore, actually, because Saulnier went down. So, oh, and Smith is into the pylon here. He is upside down and going backwards. A lot of time right now is being lost in this corner. Oh, man, what a killer. So Saulnier is in that final transfer spot now, and he's got a fairly comfortable gap over Charles Gable, who just went down. So it splits again. Now it's Ty Smith and Jake Warden battling over 5th. So your top 4 has kind of broken away from the pack. Or I'm sorry, Jake Warden is in the final transfer spot. What did I miss? So it is between these two, Warden and Ty Smith. Who wants to go to the main event in San Diego? Look at Ty Smith, the whole rhythm section, just like it was a whoop section. And honestly, he's not losing that much time doing it. Those jumps are just weird enough that you can kind of do that. So what does Smith do here? Does he push the envelope? Does he try to make Warden make a mistake or just pass him straight up? Or does he set back, maybe hope the cuts will help, or maybe a crash from Warden? I don't know. It doesn't look like he's really made up his mind just yet. Although I guess he is kind of sitting back just a little bit. Gets the triple. Long side. Makes the pass. Oh, contact. Oh, Warden T-bones him, and somehow he doesn't go down, and Warden into the final corner is going to the main event. Tyler Lewis just missed out. Ty Smith is probably going to rage quit right there. I wouldn't be too pumped if I were him either. That was kind of weird that, yes, he made his own mistake. Yes, he ended up sideways in the track, but I wouldn't have thought that that would have happened. Very interesting. Charles Gable, almost said Luke Heberlein. Throwback, Cole Heberlein. Mikhail Ming Woodley, Devin Ryan, Robert Wilson, Derek Duraco, Tyler Fry, Austin Bear, Fernando Andrade, Jack Fowler, Walter Gebhardt, early race leader. Wait, why is he wide open in the sand? Oh, you know what? I think they kicked him for having improper name. Yep, they kicked Walter Gebhardt, the race leader, because his name in game was Justin Barsha. Wow. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody get kicked for that, but it is a rule that you have to run your correct name. So it's a rule that you have to run your correct name, you have to run your correct skin. They make these rules so that everybody follows them, and clearly Walter Gebhardt did not. He's also not followed it several times before, so it's not like it's a first offense necessarily. But wow, oh wow, I definitely didn't think that they would kick the race leader for that. I have been wronged. Yeah, I guess I should clarify. The rule is the name you sign up as. And technically speaking, you're supposed to sign up as your real name. They've caught several people before who were not running their real name that they forced to change their name. There are a couple exceptions to that rule, but generally speaking, it is real first and last name, and you have to run that in-game. And that has been a rule since pretty much I've played the game. 2011 was the last time you could run a screen name. I think 2012 was the first year real names came around. Wow. Alrighty. So that leads us into our 450 LCQ, which probably only going to get a little bit crazier from here. It features kind of a few big names, and damn it, I think it timed out again. I don't know why it times me out after the 40-second mark of these guys loading in. I think it'd give me more time. There are more Supercross championships sitting on the line in this LCQ than exist anywhere else in this game. 4-time MotoOption Supercross champion Tyson Fresquez is lining up on the gate, as is 2-time MotoOption Supercross champion Brian Haskell. That is a crazy enough stat in its own right to talk about. But either way, this LCQ is super stacked. I'm ready to watch it. I hope you are too. Let's go racing again in San Diego. Not a bad start from Fresquez, actually a good one, and he gaps everybody into the first corner. He's going to have the whole shot if he hangs on, and he does. And he gets the first section clean, very crucial to getting away. And wouldn't you know it, I talk about the 2 winningest Supercross riders of all time and the 2 most champions in Supercross all time, and they end up 1-2 in the race. Brian Haskell comes across in second with Jack Zars giving chase, but he makes a bobble, and yep, Garrett Ulver was trying to save that for about 100 feet, ends up going down. So now it's Lee onto the back of Zars. And nobody really giving them a challenge at the moment. That's crazy because there's quite a few good guys in this race. Blakely, Coate, Turley, Oliver getting stacked up with William St. Laurent, Tony Spinelli, who's been in a lot of main events, Bryce Whelan. We saw Tyler Schmidt, who was easily in a transfer spot in his heat race, missed timing gates. He ended up outside looking in. There's St. Laurent, Dylan Copeland, Noah Baker, who had a great ride last week. Your defending 250 East champion, Connor Holiak, is in this one. Boy, oh boy. Oh, Blakely ends up going backwards in the track. All right. Up front, though, Fresquez took the lead and took off, man. He is gone. Haskell's trying to keep it close, but really not even in the same zip code already. I think Haskell's just trying to take it easy here, maybe. All 4, you know, well, really all 3 of these guys, because Fresquez is already so far out front, but all 3 of these guys don't need to pass each other. They don't need to do anything stupid. They have a big enough gap on 5th right now that they could probably ride this thing home given their pace, although Coate is very fast, as is Turley. They both, if they ran the same laps that they can run, they'll get to them, but that's always kind of the golden snitch, if you will. Being able to run that lap, those laps, whatever you want to say, consistently. Coate 6th at Houston earlier this year, though. Definitely no slouch. And he actually is reeling these guys in, but I have a feeling Zars just made a big mistake because he's sideways, he's off the track, he's trying to come back on. He's going to get passed by Coate now, so that blows the door wide open for these guys. Ooh, Coate swapping at the end of the whoops there. Just able to corral it back together. He's holding on to that last transfer spot now. So Zars has got to fight back. He's trying to bring Turley with him to do the same. Already almost 8 seconds for Fresquez out front. Just clicked over to 8 seconds, actually, over Haskell, who's not really getting away from this group. He is ahead of this group and not necessarily in this battle. But Haskell is not getting away as easy as Fresquez here, and he is still in danger if he were to go down. Zars has so much pressure from Turley, though. This is maybe the best I've seen Turley ride this year. I think he made 1 main at Phoenix. Meanwhile, Coate went down, so Zars is in that final transfer spot. Oh, Turley into Zars. They're both down. Oh, what a killer. Zars was going down anyway. I think Turley was just trying to avoid him, and he gets wrapped up in the conflict. Whew. All right, so it's Fresquez, Haskell, Lee, and Coate. And mixed in are a couple other persons that are a lap down now. I think that was Holiak that I just saw. So Blakely and DeSalle and, well, still Turley. Pretty much the only guys that have a shot. Zars is a touch too far back. Oh, there's a stack up. Coat is down. And, wow, what the heck just happened? So that puts Blakely in the last transfer spot for the time being. Although DeSalle is coming. White flag in the air for Fresquez. It's kind of settled down, but this is going to be your battle for the last transfer spot right here. Blakely has it. DeSalle wants it. We'll go on board with the 38. So he goes wide here. Swings around. Goes 3, 2, 1. What's that? I think it was Zars off the track, but it must have been Schmidt. And DeSalle is charging. Oh, OJ's a trip a little bit. Still going for the tables. Oh, he hits the pylon and he goes down. That is going to do it for him, I think, as Tyson Fresquez takes the win in the LCQ. A little bit of extra track time might help. And your two winningest Supercross riders of all time go 1-2 in an LCQ. Cameron Lee makes it into, I believe, his first or second main event of the year. Might be his first. And Blakely also goes through. DeSalle had a chance. Unfortunately, rode a little bit over his head, it seems, and went down. Oh, Spencer Turley loses in the last corner. So Coat, Turley, Cohenauer, Copeland, Oliver, Schmidt, Spinelli, Zars, Holiak, Baker, Bryce, Whelan. What a terrible turn of events for Whelan this year, who had the points lead at one point and has now missed, I should say, 2 consecutive main events. Clay Alfrey, William St. Laurent, and only 19 guys started that one, so we were missing somebody somewhere in there. But it was the only Tyson Fresquez. Trying to think of the number. 42 combined career Supercross victories between these two guys on your screen. I think that's right. I think Tyson has 24 and Haskell has 18. Either way, 6 Supercross championships between the two of them. Gnarly. All right, coming up next will be our main event. Well, actually, no, it won't. It will be a script reset. These guys are going to rebuild the scripts again. And while they're doing that, I can also, again, do a big old thank you to everybody behind the scenes, helping out with Start Your Systems, getting everything aligned. A lot of the stuff goes on my end, but a lot of guys behind the scenes that you don't see necessarily helping out as well. And I can't thank all of them enough for making these broadcasts possible. Definitely wouldn't be possible without the guys at Versus PC. Seriously, if you have a question about PCs, just email. You can email John at Versus PC, or you could go to the Versus PC contact form. They'll help you out. Let them know I sent you. And yeah, need a PC part, need advice, need a computer build, anything. Versus PC, they are there for the helping. And a huge supporter of the sim community. Like I said, broadcasts would not be possible without them. All right, coming up next, 250 main event. And let's see if they have, there is your 250 main event lineup. Chapman, of course, winning his heat race. Eagland winning his. All right, so for the fourth time this year, we have had a steady stream of 200 plus viewers. Numbers in general are up on the broadcast and on the playbacks this year, so that's looking good. Obviously, you guys, as a fan base watching this stuff, very helpful, very awesome that you guys pay attention, watch these races, hang out with me, make it a little bit more entertaining. All right, so one day my computer will load into this race, and I can only hope that that day happens tonight, and it did. All right, there we go. All right, so this is going to be a parade lap for these 250 guys. We've got Trevor Doiron, Jacob Hubbard, Russ Chapman, Brandon Hedge, Buddy Parker, Craig Leak, Grant Harlan, Sean Klein, Zach Dupuis, Jake Rose, James Schuler, Jake Warden, Cody Penwell, Jordan Moxie, Kevin Gonzalez, Isaiah Dickerson, Matthias Janis, Dakota French, and 3 other dudes that I missed. But nonetheless, it is the final West Coast race for about 5 more weeks. These guys have a lot to prove, a lot on the line, and somebody needs to try to dethrone Russ Chapman along the way. But here we go. The board is sideways, the revs are up, and we are off and running here in San Diego. It's going to be Klein. No, gets chopped from the outside, and it's Moxie with the hole shot. Moxie on the 20 out front. Right behind him comes Chapman. In the mix as well, there goes Jake Rose. I see Zach Dupuis as well as Trevor Doiron. Sean Klein came around in 6th. Bad news for most of the field that Chapman is near the front, as that was not the case in Oakland. Chapman completely cut down after the corner right there and was not able to get the triple, so he might lose a couple more spots. As Doiron goes through, Chapman actually maintains 4th. And Penwell, Leak, Sean Klein has dropped to 8th. I think that was in that stack up that Chapman created a little bit there. Chapman looking on the inside of Doiron, trying to get on the rear tire into the corner, sends it, and just gets that Kawasaki wrangled in down into the corner. Oh, Moxie down and Rose down too. Are you serious? And then Leak down too. It's a scatterbrains back here. And Chapman just absolutely gets handed the race lead. What in the world just happened? Cody Penwell is suddenly thrust into sitting in 2nd. Sean Klein is in 3rd. Dakota French, Zach Dupuis, Jacob Hubbard. It's all kind of mixed up here. Some of your top contenders mixed in with guys that haven't been up front all too much this year. Oh, Penwell still trying to give fits to Klein. French gets hung up in the corner, and Dupuis had nowhere to go, gets into the back of him, and now Penwell goes looping off the track. French goes through, Hubbard goes through, Dickerson goes through, Leak goes through. And then that is Janis, and Dupuis comes around, and then that is a couple Zooks. That is Doiron and Mitchell with Grant Harlan right behind that. Eagland, your heat race winner, is back here with Gonzalez, Rose, Warden, Moxie, who was leading this race early on, is way back now. He is in 17th. Schuler, Buddy Parker, Saulnier, Zaworski, and Hedge is in 22nd. Just a quick run through the field of where everybody is, but nobody is touching Russ Chapman up front right now. Trying to go 6 for 6 to start the season. A good start went a long way tonight, but the next closest guy championship-wise is still in the hunt a little bit here. Klein in 2nd in the race and in the championship. It would take some crashing from Chapman, I think, to get him close. But it's definitely not over until the checkered flag waves, that's for sure. And Dakota French and Jacob Hubbard are having a great ride. They're holding off Dickerson and Craig Leak at the moment. Dickerson's going to try that 3-3 to the inside of Hubbard, and he will get there. Oh, and he plows into French, who is coming down the corner. Worked out the worst for Dickerson, but it was not necessarily the best case scenario for French, who lost a couple spots in the process. So that puts Hubbard up onto the podium spot, but here comes Craig Leak. Oh, and Klein was stuck in the bales after the on-offs. So that moves Hubbard up to second, Leak to third. Klein now goes back to fourth. Oh, Hubbard slides it down. Leak into him, goes down. Klein gets hung up, and there goes Janice and Dakota French through into second and third. Hubbard gets up in fifth behind Klein, who's now fourth, and then suddenly Zach Dupuis is also into the mix as well. So we got like a 5-rider train all battling it out for second here, and that second place is now owned by Matthias Janice. Oh, look at Klein feeling saucy, gets down the inside of French, who just got T-boned there a lap before, so he was probably a little skeptical of all that. Well, he might try to get him back here, though. Oh, nope, not quite. So Klein around French, gonna go after Janice. Hubbard also mixed in. Leak is right there as well. Oh, hang up in the corners. Leak and Hubbard get together. That was French who got his front wheel just up and over the berm there for a second. So these two getting up, they have lost 4 spots in the process. Now they end up behind Dickerson and Penwell, who's having a little off-track excursion. These guys trying to get across the start straight. Penwell full send mode, still getting that 3 comfortably into the corner. Dickerson is maybe a bit faster, though. He's going to try to get around him. Penwell also going inside right here. It's mixed. Some guys are using that line, some aren't. It really kind of depends on how you set up for this corner. Dickerson going outside 3-3 is a little, just a touch faster because he can carry his momentum. I still feel 450s though. If they cut down in that berm early and went 4-3 through that first rhythm, it would be faster. Well, Craig Leak is behind these guys, and Dickerson just went down. And we seem to have lost Jacob Hubbard a little bit too. Here he comes. I was thinking that Dickerson going down would allow Hubbard back through. Meanwhile, Rose trying to get around the outside of Hubbard, but Hubbard says no thank you. Holds onto the spot for now, and now he's catching up to Penwell a little bit here. Rose and Hubbard maybe going at it with Dickerson sneaking in the background. Oh, Rose going through the tough blocks there. Oh, Penwell and Leak both over the berm, so Hubbard, Rose, and Dickerson, and can't quite see who that is in the background, Moxie, all get a couple spots thanks to that whole kerfuffle. Ooh, Hubbard was trying to find a line on Rose there. Rose slammed the door shut. Now Hubbard still getting passed by that 3-3 line. Obviously slower, but he actually had a line on Rose who was going way slower in that rhythm section. Not sure what Rose did there. Ooh, Dupuis was showing a wheel to Dakota French. This is for the 4th spot. And Dupuis is going to get the triple, but he checks up. He does not want to get into the back of French there, and he wasn't sure which direction he was going to go in, so thought better of it. Now French makes a bobble. It's a drag race. They both check up for the corner. Here is Janice all alone in 3rd. Well, not quite. He's close to Klein. Actually, is going to get Klein, who is crashing his way off the track. Janice goes back into the 2 spot, and then Klein gets hung up as Tyler Fry goes up and over the bars. So this battle for 4th is closing in. Dupuis trying an inside on French. Nope, still thinking better of it. Goes outside and not getting the triple on either. So it's really kind of an all across the board mix of what these guys are doing and what they're willing to try necessarily. Some guys hitting bigger lines than others, but crashing more often because of it. Some guys checking up, taking it easy, and getting through the track a little bit smoother because of it, as Dupuis goes off the track in the background, so he lost a little bit of time to French there. Almost jumped off the track again. So now Moxie has moved up into 6th, ahead of his teammate Jake Rose. Jacob Hubbard is still right here in this mix. Eagland, your heat race winner, is in 9th. Dickerson rounds out the top 10, and Leak, who was in 3rd at one point, has now fallen way back. You can see him going the other direction in the whoops there. He is down in 11th. So look at Chapman's lead, 17 and some change seconds out ahead of Matthias Janis. Chapman looks pretty unstoppable in this series, I do say so myself. He's going to have 3 rounds to go after this one, and I would be surprised if he doesn't wrap it up a round or 2 early. The rate he is winning races and his comfort level out there, I just find it hard to believe he won't get it accomplished. It's got such a big gap over Janis. Klein is still trying to keep things close. And French has lost touch. Moxie's now moved up into the 5 spot. Rose is 6th, Eagland 7th, Hubbard 8th, and Dupuis goes from 5th to 9th and has Dickerson giving him a bit of a fit here. So I think Dupuis here maybe trying to hang on for a top 10, getting to that 10-minute mark. Of course, 15 minutes plus a lap on this track. Dickerson all over the place. Going to get some cuts from that off-track excursion. Oh, speaking of off-track, Dupuis goes off-track and then sends it, and he is down. OJ's the triple. Of course, with these new suspension modules added to the game, as counterproductive as it sounds, it is so much better to land sitting down and in a neutral position, but land very heavily on the front of the bike with the clutch in. That's about the easiest way you can save a hard crash like that. It's really dumb, shouldn't work, but it does. So it's kind of changed up a little bit again. Moxie is in 4th. Ooh, and Sean Klein just crashed all by himself in 3rd. Not sure how that happened. So these battles inside of the top 5 have kind of gone stagnant. Behind it, though, it's crazy. Dakota French is about to get passed by Colby Eagland as, Hubbard comes into the mix as well. That is a lapped rider on that Husky trying to get out of the way. Hubbard and French. Hubbard on that 778, French on the 93. Now French falling back into the clutches of Dickerson a little bit. It's just kind of a game of cat and mouse between all these guys. Who can make the least amount of mistakes? It's going to come out on the better end of all this. Whoa, man, and there's riders down. That was Jake Rose, and he was down with Bodie Parker, who is a lapped rider. Not sure what happened there. But French just missed him, but lost a spot to Dickerson in the process, and now Dickerson is just all over the place. It's very interesting to see how much these guys are struggling with this track this week. That first rhythm, very challenging. And yeah, getting these on-offs and that corner before the finish are pretty tough, but the rest of the track is fairly straightforward, and these guys are really having to huck things and struggling a little bit. I'm kind of surprised by it, to be honest. So coming up on 13 minutes into this one, we will be down to just 2 minutes and a lap to go. Go ahead and do a little run through the field, shall we? I'm going to wait till these guys get to the I'll wait till he gets to the sand, I think. Sand is probably best. Let me just double check that that's a good idea. Yeah, the sand is the most like straight on. And then I'll do a little casual run through the field. Russ Chapman has a big old, nice, comfortable lead though. 30.5 seconds. This is domination at its finest, folks. Chapman is unreal tonight. So here he goes into the sand. There's race leader Chapman going through. French and Saulnier both a lap down. Dupuis coming through. He's a lap down. Rose is a lap down. Dickerson is a lap down. Bodie Parker coming through is 2 laps down, actually. Penwell, I believe, might also be 2 laps down. Not sure who that is on the Husky there. Then here comes, that must be, no, Craig Leake's also a lap down. Tyler Fry is a lap down. Here is second place, Matthias Janis on the 41. He is in second. 62 of Roy Mitchell is at least a lap down. Brandon Hedge on the 298 is a lap down. Nathan Zaworski might be 2 laps down, actually, or getting close to it. There's Sean Klein on the 10. He is in third. Jake Warden, a lap down. Colby Eagland is all the way up to 4th. Great ride for him. And then Chapman. So that's it. That's it. He's lapped up to, what, 4th? And he is just going to beat the timer, so 2 laps to go again. So here's Chapman. Janis halfway around the track. Klein right here. And yep, Eagland in 4th place is getting lapped by Russ Chapman. Chapman potentially could lap up into the podium, but he's got about a straightaway and a half to get to Klein now. Unreal. There's only 3 people on the lead lap in this race, and we're not even on the last lap yet. Somebody said go on board with the snake. I think that means Jake Rose, but Moxie's actually in a better spot for it because he's close to, that's Dakota French in front of him. White flag is going out right now, though. White flag in the air for Chapman up front. Let's go on board with Moxie for a lap here. It's really not wearing down too much, this track. The ruts aren't digging in that deep. Seems like it's a little bit more hard packed this week. Can't tell if that's lending positively to these guys, if they're feeling more comfortable on it or not, but just like the track itself, these guys aren't having a good time on. Moxie on French, quad up and over into P6, but OJ's a triple and goes down, so French goes back by, and Moxie misses a triple, but French cases it. Oh, it's a battle royale. Moxie and French. Oh, French punts him into the Davalos bales. Meanwhile, up front, Russ Chapman remains perfect, 6 for 6, as he takes the win here in San Diego. And with a comfortable margin, maybe his biggest victory of the season. Matthias Janis had no answer, and Eagland finishes 4th, a lap down. Hubbard, Moxie, Rose. Move Rose going down. Dakota French. What in the world happened? Because we were on board with Moxie, and he got put into the Davalos bales, or was I on board with somebody else? I thought it was Moxie, but French ends up 8th. Rose 9th, Dickerson 10th, Dupuis 11th. Oh, Penwell is down. Might get passed by Zaworski. Yep. Penwell just getting going, so Zaworski looks like he's going to pick up 12th here. Hedge is 14th, Warden 15th, Mitchell 16th, Gonzalez 17th, Saulnier 18th, Harlan 19th, Parker 20th, Schuler 21st, and Doiron 22nd. Wow, Russ Chapman is making this series a bit of a snooze fest. Cuts are in. And yeah, I didn't think much would change because these guys weren't that close to each other. 46-second victory for Chapman. Unreal. Oh boy. Okay, now it's time. Things are getting real. 5 different winners, 5 rounds into the season. This 450 class is one of the craziest 450 classes we've seen in a long time. The depth of the field is unreal. This championship is unreal. And our points leader, Leclerc, not the best heat race. He's not going to have the most optimal gate pick. Just to give you an update on the current point standings, Leclerc enters tonight a 12-point advantage on Colton Mitchell. Another 3 points back of Mitchell is Mullins. And then another 13 points back of that is Armstrong. So talking about Armstrong working his way back into this championship after missing the opening round. Already up to 4th in the standings and is only 28 points back. So it's not impossible. Siebold, Mahan, Fjellberg, Mullins, Smith, Haley, Henners, Fresquez, Young, Bull, Richards, Mitchell, Leclerc, Leitzel, Shipley, Lee, Lang, Blakely, Armstrong, Holm, Davis. The names are here. The 6th round of MotoOption Supercross is set to go. We're going to get them lined up one more time. One more race on the night. It is 20 minutes plus a lap of absolute mayhem, awesome action. Are you ready? I'm ready. 30-second board is sideways. The revs are up. We are off to the races here tonight in San Diego. The gate is down and we are underway in the 450 main event. Armstrong, a good start. Leclerc again pushes him really wide though and shoves him off the track and takes the early race lead. Leclerc, no holds barred, frustrated at Whelan's comments after last week and takes a very aggressive maneuver into the first corner to take the race lead. Leclerc out front. He was into the bales going to that first corner. I wonder if we're going to hear a little bit about that later. But it's Leclerc from Haley and Fjellberg. Adam Holm also with a pretty good start up here. Haley looked actually really good in his heat race. Could this be the night? Jack Haley already looking for a move on Leclerc for the race lead. Leclerc goes for the 3 into the corner and gets it. Actually behind Haley, Fjellberg tried to do it, almost got into Haley, thought better of it, and ended up going down, so that did not work out in his favor. It's a weird mix to see these guys, some of them going for it, some of them not, and that's usually what tends to happen there. So Haley gonna have to go back to work on Leclerc. Leclerc not getting away as quickly as he may like here though, but the problem for everybody else, especially those situated close to him in the championship, is Leclerc is leading and there is not really much heavy heat from behind. You don't see the Mullinses, you don't see the Armstrongs, you don't see the Colton Mitchells. They're just not close. So they have to rely here on Jack Haley, who thus far is keeping him honest, but we know how Leclerc is. Oh, and Haley, he rode out of it. Haley front flips his way through the first rhythm section, and that was going to be end of his opportunity on Leclerc. Instead, rides out of a barrel roll front flip and only really lost about a second in the process. And Leclerc with a mistake. Haley to the lead. Couldn't quite tell if Leclerc had slid out and was getting up from that, or if he just made a bobble and lost a lot of momentum. Either way, Jack Haley, your new race leader here on the 57, and Leclerc is going to have to go to work. Keep an eye out, though, on Adam Holm in the background. Holm is looking good tonight, like I said in his heat race. It's kind of just slowly been getting better as the season goes on. He didn't start on fire necessarily, especially coming off of that victory in the last round of the season of Nationals. Not necessarily the Holm I think some people expected to see, but he's been good, and he's lurking back there. Speaking of lurking, Leclerc is trying to waste no time. He wants around Haley. He wants this lead back, and he's going to try to do it at all costs. Haley's fighting him off, though. I think Leclerc's a little better in the whoops, but Haley able to just hold off enough right there. This is a good battle for the race lead. Haley unwilling to go for that 3 into the corner, and it's causing Leclerc, I think, to do a line he's not used to doing. I think Leclerc is comfortable with that 3 into the corner, and he checks up and he gets a little kicked every time he comes in to do that tire tap. So Leclerc doing 2-3-3 in the first rhythm. Couldn't quite see the line Haley was doing, but it looked like it might have been a touch slower. Either way, Haley's doing a good job of holding on. These guys are so close. I don't want to switch away yet, but clearly there's battling going on behind these two that we want to keep an eye on. So you look at Leclerc, he's getting that 3 into the corner. I don't think Haley's doing it consistently, at least. Although Haley has stretched it out just a touch this last lap. It's going to make Leclerc work for it. And that's what you got to do with a guy like Leclerc. You can't just give him the free range to run away out front. And now Haley, you can see, has changed up his line. He's doing that 2-3-3 through that rhythm. So what does Leclerc have to respond with? Well, he might have Haley casing a triple. Nope. Haley able to get over that clean. Man, Leclerc just straight as an arrow in the whoops. It is so unlike Leclerc. He was never very good in the whoops. He was really good everywhere else. His corner speed was unreal, but he was terrible in the whoops. And Haley clips his head on the inside pole in the hip jump. It allows Leclerc through for the lead, and a big one at that. Holm goes through into second, but 5 seconds down. That just completely changed the complexion of the race. But meanwhile, here come a couple guys that really have a shot at making this thing interesting. Colton Mitchell and Jeremy Smith. These are two guys that regularly can beat Leclerc. It's really about whether or not they can get to him or not. Certainly has the speed tonight, does Mitchell. He looked fantastic in his heat race, battling with Seabolt to the line. Seabolt obviously got him there, but I think Mitchell and him both have what it takes to win this race tonight. It's just so difficult to accomplish that when you start the race buried in the field, and the guy that won last week and is your points leader starts with the whole shot. Mitchell definitely has worked his way onto the back of Smith quickly, though. Trying to waste no time, trying to get going. One thing these 450 guys do, I feel, a little better job at is consistently hitting their marks, the same spots in the corners, the same lines in the flat stuff and whatnot. So you'll see as the race develops, especially because it's a longer race, these ruts that they're making because of the erode will get better and better, get deeper. They might be able to hit some lines we haven't seen yet because of that. Oh, stack up in the corner. That was Holm down, and Hinters was trying to avoid him, and he gets stuck. So that actually caught Mitchell up. And now Leclerc has a massive lead over Jack Haley. This thing is blown wide open really quickly. Holm is going to have pressure from Mullins before long. Siebolt finally shows his face inside of the top 10. Fjellberg and Mahan. Leitzel having a good ride. Phil Bull and Devin Davis. Shipley, Cameron Lee, Tyler Lang, and Tyson Fresquez. I'm seeing scrolling across the top of your screen right now, James Armstrong, who nearly had the whole shot, is coming across right now in 21st. That is not where he wanted to be, especially when he's trying to be a championship contender. And you can't miss around to be a championship contender against this field. But Armstrong was trying. Oh, Devin Davis upside down in the corner there, so he's going to lose some spots. We'll head back up front, see kind of what's going on. Looks like Leclerc actually has lost some ground towards Haley. Haley down under the 7-second range. Yeah, Leclerc did a 59.2 last time by. That was almost 2 seconds slower than Haley. We'll go on board with Haley for a lap and see what exactly he's doing. Still going inside here. So he goes 3. Then kind of tap 2s into the corner. I think that's a touch slower than those guys swinging wide and going 3.32. So smooth though. I mean, so controlled. The level of performance these guys at the top of this game are able to emit is unreal. And you can see the time is coming down on the pit board a little bit. Haley is actually reeling in Leclerc slowly but surely, and lappers will come into play here, I think. Especially with the track becoming more and more one-lined and the off-lines not being as comfortable for some of these guys. I think you're going to see Leclerc maybe struggle a bit through a 57 flat, Leclerc 57.6, so Haley chopped off about a half a second that lap. And I saw on the track map, but you can see clear as day right here. Look at this, 4 or 5 lappers right in front of Leclerc. And they will get that blue bar to let them know that the race leader is coming through. But if they're in a battle within each other, they're just not even going to pay attention to that sometimes. And ahead of that, there's still another 3 or 4 group up there. Oh, whoa! Haskell gets drug along there by somebody on a Husky. Can't quite tell who that is. Don't have the number. Oh, we got a stack up. That was Cameron Lee in the corner. Looks like Leclerc's getting through fairly clean, though. And yeah, he's going to get around that lapper right there as well. Starting to see that corner before the finish line getting real deep. And that's actually favoring Leclerc a bit because he's able to 3 in and get stopped and comfortably make that corner. I think we need to keep an eye on this guy. This guy is coming up to 3rd, 4 seconds back of Haley right now. Mitchell has the opportunity to win this race, I think. He's going wide here. Let's see, he goes 2, 3, 3 in the first section. Look at the time gains as Haley was off the track, so Mitchell, as long as he doesn't make too big of a mistake. Oh, legs off. He was trying to avoid the pylon. Landed off the side of the track. That is going to be a huge blow to his chance to win this race tonight. Gets passed by Mullins. Holm, I saw Smith go through at the beginning of that as well. Mitchell going to fight back around the outside of Mullins, who will run him high. Playing nice, though. I know these two had a bit of a run-in after the Phoenix Supercross. Nothing really happened at Oakland. This is a good little train of people right here, though. Jeremy Smith is away from these guys. They're lapping Cameron Lee. That's who's in front of Adam Holm. He moves out of the way nicely there. And Mullins is trying to get around Adam. Mitchell right there in the background as well. Here's Mullins. He's got an inside line. He tries to tap. Wow. Got it. Does he get the triple into the next section? Yes, he does. Clean. And Mitchell's also going to go through on Holm, who I think was maybe caught a bit by surprise by Mullins pulling that move off and kind of messed the corner up doing so. How about Chase Blakely? Blakely's having a nice ride here inside of the top 10. First real good solid performance from Blakely this year. He's kind of been getting better. He started the year behind the 8 ball, it seems. Wasn't comfortable maybe with the road or what have you. But struggled a lot at the beginning. He's going to get passed here by Seabolt. Slowly been picking things up, and 6th round of the season finds himself comfortably inside of the top 10 here, battling it out with these guys. So that's good news for him. Now Mitchell gets around Mullins. So Mitchell trying to continue his quest from the back towards the front, if you will. Yeah, Mullins' line there is pretty good if he can do it consistently, but that's the key, consistently, because it's a tricky line to tap the top of that double and just kind of float into the next corner so smoothly. Meanwhile, Leclerc has got his lead out to about 14 seconds. Nope, actually it's down to 10. Looked a little bigger than that. I didn't think Haley was that close, but oh well. One crash, that's all it takes though. Lappers still could come into effect here. He's got one right in front of him. And the deeper he gets into lap traffic, the less likely they will be inclined to move over, as they're already having a good race themselves. Judging by time behind at the top of across the top of your screen, he looks like he's lapped up to about 13th or 14th or so. Trying to see who the rider in front of him is. What could have been for Haley, what still could be for Smith. Smith is looking pretty good. Mitchell is lapping Haskell. That is Mullins right there in the mix as well. They're lapping Devin Davis, who is latched right onto the back of them. Davis is coming along there with, couldn't quite tell who was behind him. How about Tyson Fresquez? He's worked his way up to 10th. So from 17th when we saw him the first time we checked, he's up to 10th now. So keeping it a little bit in the right direction. So Mitchell closing back up on Smith again. He was there not that long ago and then went down. Let's go on board at the 6. It's not out of the question that one of these guys could still win this race, but it's going to require a Leclerc crash, and he just got around 3 crucial lappers. He's got fairly clear track. 3 or so guys mixed in ahead of him. Probably for the next 3 or so laps, he won't have anybody. And we're creeping down towards the end of this thing quicker than you think. We're already 15.5 minutes in. We have lost Jack Haley somewhere. So Mitchell and Smith are now battling for second. And I have to guesstimate they're roughly 15 seconds behind Leclerc just based off the track map. Gotta tell you, Smith is riding a pretty strong race, especially coming back fired up after missing the main event. That LCQ mishap last week was just trying to avoid a downed rider, ended up getting a legs off while he was in the final transfer spot. Shouldn't have even been in the LCQ in the first place, but unlucky to have happened what happened. And now coming back, looking like he is going to maybe finish this thing off on the podium, but which podium spot will it be? Mitchell wants to make sure he's on the last step of the podium, as Mitchell really wants that second spot. See how these lines are forming. Like I said, these guys are so good about hitting their marks and hitting the same spot over and over again. The corners are wearing in better for them. Mitchell inside. Does he get the triple out is the question. Goes for it. Holy cow, how did he get the drive to do that? Smith is going to fight back on the inside. Mitchell is down in the same exact spot. Oh, man. Not that he was going to catch Leclerc, but it is just not helping his case to keep crashing. So Holm back onto a podium spot, and suddenly Chase Blakely is in a pretty good spot to maybe get... Oh, and just as I say that, Haley gets stacked up behind him. Blakely's down. There goes Seabolt through. Mullins trying to squeak by. Blakely's just trying to get going. He gets going backwards right in front of Reed Young, I think that was. So now Fjellberg is trying to split through these guys. That is the 15 of Devin Davis and the 40 of Phil Bowl. Now Mullins has Jack Haley right in front of him. He's going to try to get around him. Jack Haley is trying to pass Seabolt at the same time, so it's really a three-rider battle. And this battle is for the 5 spot. See, Mullins, he gets that line, he catches right onto the back of Haley, but he made a small bobble at the end and wasn't able to complete the pass because of it. Oh, Haley staying really low on the triple, using that outside line to keep his momentum. Into the whoops. Seabolt, Haley, trying to run down Holm, which, by the way, Mitchell's back through into 3rd. So Holm outside of a podium position again. Haley thought about it right there. He had a drive. And fortunately for his case, it worked out anyway because Seabolt yarded it up in the corner. But Haley had a pretty good drive and was going to try to get down to the inside, but thought better of it. These guys are getting smarter when it comes to racecraft, I think. Leclerc not close to the time. So that will be 2 laps to go for Leclerc. Smith, Mitchell, Holm, Haley, Mullins. Fjellberg is down, so Seabolt is going to get back around him. Barely. Blakely urges his way through and then goes down, so lappers kind of affecting these guys. Leclerc, I think, is in this mix somewhere. Or nah, he's not quite there yet, I guess. That's good news for him, because all that chaos can really wreak havoc on Leclerc's quest to win this race. How about Tyson Fresquez, though? I haven't talked much about him. Moving up into 9th now. It's right behind Dennis Fjellberg. I know it's not good, and it's pretty likely that Tyson is not going to be a 5-time Supercross champion at the end of this year, but he's doing a pretty good job, at least in this race, of limiting the damage, which was really, really bad, and that's not going to help. But at the beginning of this race, it was not looking good. All right, so white flag for Leclerc. There's still a group of lappers he has to get around. Like 5 guys are right in front of him. He can slow the pace down, though. He has 13 seconds to work with, of course. But if any of these guys go down right in front of him, he has maybe nowhere to go. And there's a big group of them, that is for sure. Leclerc, being careful. Got a kick on the on-offs and able to corral it back together. Fortunate, he would have definitely gotten hung up with those guys. Time's obviously going down just because of what's going on behind him. He's going to let Mahan go through, I think. Either way, Leclerc is back, and he is back in fashion. Alexis Leclerc wins the San Diego Supercross and MX Simulator, and he looks better than ever. 2 consecutive wins, extends his point lead. Smith beats Mitchell to the line, so that's actually going to hurt Mitchell championship-wise, but helps Smith, who entered the night 11th in points. Obviously, Smith probably not going to be a championship factor. This is still a good battle to the line. Haley is trying to hold off Seabolt here, and Haley just pulls over and lets him go. So Jack Haley seemingly is uninterested, despite fighting very hard for these positions, in gaining any sort of valuable points towards the championship. That is just so baffling to me. I understand wanting to race and not getting in people's way or not getting in the way of championships or whatever, but this is starting to look a little bad that he does this. So Armstrong salvages an 11th right behind Fresquez, who is 10th. Can't tell who's coming over the line next. Haley has to finish. He was Last guy on the lead lap. So Haley over the line. Let's take a look at cuts. Nothing changed. Leclerc's still your winner. Looks like Haskell lost a spot to Lee. And that was it. So that is a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. San Diego in the books. We are done with California. Can you hardly believe it? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. But thank you guys again for joining us. Can't thank you guys enough for the help and the support that goes into putting on this series. Of course, a huge shout out to Versus PC for helping make all this possible. It would not be possible without them, I promise you. Of course, MXS EMF for putting on a fantastic series, the track builders that made this race possible tonight. Racetech Suspension, FamMX, MXS servers, all the people behind the scenes, of course, MotoOption for their 7th season, helping with the MotoOption Supercross series. Fantastic stuff. Another great race in the books, and the California swing is over. Next week, Dallas, live, same time, same place next Wednesday. East Series kicking off for the 250 guys and the 450 guys, going back into football stadiums more permanently now. We're going to see that more often. So we hope to see you guys there. If we don't, we hope you guys at least enjoyed this broadcast. But for Kellen here on Start Your Systems, and for everybody that's involved with this series, we thank you kindly for tuning in to round 6 of the MotoOption Supercross series here in San Diego. And we'll see you guys next week in Dallas.